Welcome to Carter's Corner Pocket, where we feel the rocket. Today, talking GameStop.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gonna
What's
feed 'em.
going on, everybody? Today, I'm going to talk about Wedbush Securities analyst Michael Pachter. Tell me you're short GameStop without telling me you're short GameStop. CNBC television. Ryan Cohen doesn't have the first clue how to turn GameStop around, says Wedbush Michael Pachter. Let's go.
Michael Pachter to discuss. He has a sell rating, price is 650. Closer to that. You were right on the sell. Is the dream over?
Oh, I think the dream never started. You guys have a documentary out right now. I think it came out yesterday called The Meme King, calling Cohen a meme king. He's the Queen of Hearts. He was displeased and he said, "Off with his head" to Furlong. That's the CEO's name that they shall not name. I mean, it's like if he said his name in the press release, he'd be cursed. They brought 3 Amazon executives in 3 years ago, and they managed to. One departed after 7 months. I think she figured it out quickly. The other was fired after less than 2 years, and the third one was fired after just under 3 years. So Cohen brings people in, doesn't actually tell them what to do, and they don't fix anything, and they're gone. I don't think he has the first clue how to turn this company around.
These people were brought in to do a specific job. They completed it and they departed. They came in to do what they were asked to do and left. They were temporary hires.
And the truth is, I don't think they can turn it around. I think that they should be in harvest mode, trying to generate profits on a smaller footprint, and they're just not doing that.
Trying to generate profits on a smaller footprint? Let's take a look at Ryan Cohen's letter to the board. Let's see. Oh, look, first paragraph to the board of directors that he wrote November of 2020. GameStop needs to evolve into a technology company that delights gamers and delivers exceptional digital experiences, not remain a video game retailer that over-prioritizes its brick and mortar footprint and stumbles around the online ecosystem. He's talking about over-prioritizing brick and mortar footprint. It's in paragraph 1, Michael. Did you not read it? Continue on.
Are they going to figure out how to be Domino's Pizza and not Blockbuster here somehow? Because so many trends in gaming are going against them. We just had Apple announce the Vision Pro. You can bet that's going to operate on an app store. You're not going to be going to GameStop to get games for your Vision Pro. And then you've got the cloud gaming and streaming happening. Microsoft pushing hard on that, as well as others. What's the path to life here? What do they have to do?
So Cohen's solution is blockchain gaming. And of course, if you own a console, an Xbox or a PlayStation, you think of GameStop first if you're going to play a blockchain game. You would never think to actually go to your PC. The guy has no clue, not the first clue. They are Blockbuster. And absolutely physical retail is going away. It's not going away tomorrow. It's going away when the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are done with their life cycles. It's got another 5 years, maybe 6 or 7. But they should be harvesting that cash and trying to figure out what they can do with it. Instead, he's not paying his bills. Take a look at their accounts payable. 50% of revenue in the quarter is accounts payable. They literally have 6 weeks outstanding of payables. If they keep that up, no one's going to advance them any more product. So they're
Okay, let's take a look at this. Accounts payable. Here we go. Accounts payable, here's the last quarter, quarter 3. Accounts payable, 812 million. Oh no, it went up. Guess what they do with accounts payable? Here, let's take a look at the last quarter 3. Accounts payable, 888 million. It went from the quarter before that, 217 million. It went up to 888 million for the last quarter 3. Do you know why? It's because they're buying inventory. Inventory and merchandise to sell for quarter 4, their most profitable quarter. GameStop is going to kill it this earnings. Look, and it's right over here. It's clear as day. Look, 217 to 888. This year, it was 378 to 812. And look, you can see it right here. Inventories. Here's the inventories. See the last year's quarter two, 734 million to 1.1 billion increase in inventory. That's where the money went. That's where accounts payable goes to. It's not that GameStop does not have enough money to pay their accounts payable. Look at their cash equivalents. Look, 900 million, 300 short-term investments, no long-term debt. Look at this. They can pay off whatever they need to and have money in the bank and invest it. Over here is the inventory this year. 676 million the last quarter, the quarter before quarter three, and we ramped up our inventory. $1.02 billion. Guess what? That's all going to our balance sheet. Sales, loyal customers.
I think it's really crazy.
Yeah, I guess not paying your bills is tougher when you need to be advanced product. Elon Musk doesn't have that problem at Twitter. So this is tough to short, though, I imagine, because there's a lot of excitement. This used to be a meme stock, so it could go any way on you, couldn't it?
It could, and it still is a meme stock. And I think in the documentary, I'm not sure they use this piece, but I called him the Pied Piper. And the retail investors are the rats following him off the cliff, and they don't see it coming. They're happy. They're listening to his piped tune, and they think he's a genius. I mean, I'm sure he is a genius in other areas, not in games.
So what is the anti-GameStop, though? We know how you feel about that, but in this space, what are you extra long?
Activision.
Stop it right there. Clearly, you can see how much this guy loves GameStop and Ryan Cohen. All right, guys, we're on the way. Doing some daddy duty, interrupting the video.
Yeah,
We gotta.
Stop.
What did he say to you?
He stopped, but he said it again.
But what did he say to you?
He called me poopy.
And you told him what?
Stop, he said. Baba, stop. But he did it again.
And then what did you say?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I just called him Pickle.
You just called him what?
Pickle.
Pickle?
Then Lemon.
Oh, gosh. All right, let's check out another video from Michael Pachter. Pachter, whatever. His nose be looking like Squidward.
Am I surprised that he named himself, that his handpicked board unanimously appointed him? I suppose I'm surprised that their candidate search found nobody that was willing to take the job there. When I say surprised, one would think, if he would throw enough money at a seasoned executive who wanted a CEO role, he might be able to attract somebody. But I think this is proof that there are no competent and sane people willing to work for him. So, he already ran through the competent ones who kind of stretched reason and took a chance, and they've all been fired. So now there's nobody who wants to go there just to be thrown under the bus. So Ryan Cohen was the only likely, candidate.
Did you have a lot of belief in someone that had been there and sort of was ousted? Was there anybody that you sort of had a lot of faith in and high hopes for?
Yeah, I mean, the guy that was there when Ryan Cohen took his position, George Sherman, was really good. And Jim Bell, George was the CEO and Jim Bell was CFO. And those two guys had kind of...
We're going to stop right there. Okay? The guy, George Sherman, before Ryan Cohen was really good. Here we go. Let's find it. CEO. Here's what Ryan Cohen said to Mr. Sherman. Regrettably, Mr. Sherman appears committed to a 20th century focus on physical stores and walk-in sales despite the transition to an always-on digital world. Oh, wow, Michael Pachter. So, what do you want? You want digital streaming services? So you support digital streaming, which Ryan Cohen does too, as you can see in this letter. Transition from physical hardware to digital streaming. But you also support George Sherman as the CEO, who's stuck in a brick and mortar mindset. He came from, here it is. We'll see it. Sorry. He came from Advance Auto Parts, Best Buy, and Target. There it is. Brick and mortar footprint. Contradicting himself. Okay, and to talk about Ryan Cohen as being the only person there is for CEO, that's why, because nobody wants to work for him. I want him as my CEO. Listen to this. This is him if he ever became CEO of GameStop.
Whereas with GameStop, it's a known quantity already, and we've got a business and a foundation to build off of. But having said that, it's a foundation that was underinvested in for a very, very long time, and we've been working really hard to restore and rebuild that foundation.
So when George Shorman stepped down, there were a lot of speculation whether or not you would become CEO. You were CEO at Chewy. Why not at GameStop? Jim and Alan served as your CFO and COO, so we thought you were putting the Chewy team back together since they were placed on the GameStop board.
After Chewy almost killed me, so I didn't want to put myself in the same position in terms of just the level of sacrifice that's required to be the CEO. Having already done that, it's something that I didn't want to put myself in the same position. So I put myself in a position where I can be involved strategically, but not putting myself in a position where, once I'm CEO, with Chewy, and I guess this is just my work ethic and the way that I am. If I'm the CEO, I'll basically work myself to death, and I can't control myself. I'm an extremist, so I didn't want to put myself in the same position. I learned my lesson after Chewy, and then I have to control myself. I'm my own worst enemy.
So all this narrative about he's a wild card CEO, has no clue, and he's reckless. No, he's very strategic and he knows exactly what he's doing. You don't know what he's doing. You don't know what he's doing, and you don't know what he's doing. Because he moves in silence, he moves in violence, and he's gonna shake everything up. GameStop.
Masterminded the balance sheet cleanup, and they pounced when the stock ripped up. There's a movie out now called Dumb Money. The dumb money drove it way up, and they pounced and sold stock and wiped out their debt, and they managed the balance sheet beautifully. And their reward was they were allowed to accelerate their stock-based compensation and ride into the sunset with hundreds of millions of dollars each. So good for them, but they were competent. Then Ryan Cohen came up with the brilliant idea of be like Amazon. So he hired 3 very experienced, seasoned Amazon executives. The problem is nobody's like Amazon except Amazon. So they couldn't replicate it, and they were given the death penalty for their failure. Think of Ryan Cohen as the queen from Alice in Wonderland, off with their heads. He just executed them. And now who wants to come to work there? I mean, he's an unstable guy with no vision. And you have to, toe his line. So no, they're
An unstable guy with no vision. Okay, this guy's unstable. He talks about customer service. He talks about digital transformation into the future. He talks about technology. He talks about shrinking the brick and mortar physical footprint and utilizing the footprint that they do have now, closing down stores and trimming the fat of the company and expenses. If you look at the balance sheet, SG&A, service, general expenses, administrative expenses, all going down. And here we have it again. He's talking about transition from physical hardware to digital streaming. GameStop has the ability to pivot towards becoming a technology-driven business that excels in gaming and digital experience worlds. Ryan Cohen has been building the infrastructure for the future of GameStop, the technology company.
What do you look for in talent?
Will, a really, really strong work ethic. Someone who is very, very, very hungry. And so Will is is embedded into you at a very, very young age. Skills you can acquire and you can learn. So I look for someone who's got a chip on their shoulder, someone who comes from a broken family, someone who was bullied as a kid, someone who's an immigrant and really has had to fight and is just incredibly hungry. Those are the kind of people that I like, and it's hard to find.
Those are the attributes he likes in people he hires. These are the people he hires and brings to the GameStop board of directors. Ryan Cohen, Alan Adel, Larry Cheng. Check out this, buy orders. Ryan Cohen, Alan Adel, Larry Cheng. Ryan Cohen, 36.8 million shares. Larry Cheng, 42,000 shares. Alan Adel, over 500,000 shares. The board of directors is buying. I'm buying. I will not stop buying. I just keep averaging down every single day. The longer it takes for this to launch and you hedge funds short people and you people short GameStop to own up, the more I'm going to accumulate and the more I will have. When this thing rockets, it's gone. It's over. Check this out, okay? Cash. This is the cash Ryan Cohen can invest as he sees fit. GameStop, the holding company, umbrella parent company, the possibilities are endless. Berkshire Hathaway, is it still a textile company? No. Here's Ryan Cohen's letter to the board of directors, not letter to the board of directors, his letter to the company. Subject: survival. I will be straight to the point. It is not sustainable for GameStop to operate a money-losing business. The mission is to operate a hyper efficiently and profitably. Our expense structure must allow us to endure any adverse scenario, whether it's a difficult economy or revenue deceleration from shrinking software. We must be profitable. Our job is to make sure GameStop is here for decades to come. Extreme frugality is required. Every expense at the company must be scrutinized under a microscope and all waste eliminated. The company has no use for delegators and money wasters. I expect everyone to treat company money like their own and lead by example. Prospering in retail means survival. If we survive, we stay in the game. Survival is avoiding the deadly sins that often lead retailers to self-destruct. This is usually a result of the following: buying bad inventory, using leverage, and running expenses too high. By avoiding these self-inflicted mistakes and focusing on the basics, GameStop can be here for a long time. I expect everyone to roll up their sleeves and work hard. I'm not getting paid, so I'm either going down with the ship or turning the company around. I much prefer the latter. It won't be easy. Best of luck to us all. Ryan. Support your company. Buy the products. My money's on this guy that's going to fight until the end. I'm going to fight until the end, and I'm sure you're a fighter until the end. That's why you're here. That's why we're all here 3 years later, and we will never leave. GameStop. This is the guy I want. CEO, CIO, chairman of the board. Make him everything. We will not buy bad inventory. He will not use leverage because we have so much cash, and we will not run expenses too high. Look at how he scrutinizes the expenditures of the business, and he has this balance sheet under control, absolute control. You see the false narrative Michael Pachter put out about accounts payable and how we can't pay our bills. We have so much cash. You can't pay your bills, Michael. All right, let's take a look at the balance sheet. I'm no balance sheet expert. I'll leave that up to Moran's Rants. He breaks it down with the best of them. Check out his videos. If you're here, I'm sure you've already watched his stuff. But let's take a look at selling, general, and administrative expenses. Ryan released that previous letter, Survival, on September 26th, I believe it was, of 2023. And now let's look at where we're headed. If he's going to scrutinize costs and expenditures from September onwards moving forward, expenses will only go down. Selling general administrative expenses will only go down on a will only be on a downward path. 450, 387, 387, 450, 345, 322, 296. Look at this downward trajectory. Over here, it only went up because it's Q4, their most expensive quarter. So they move more product, they operate more, it scales up higher. But as you can see, quarter for quarter, if you match it up, look, Q1 over here, 452 expenditure. Q1 over here, 345, the equivalent quarter. We got 387 previously. The equivalent quarter would be 322 million. 387 from 387 million expenditures. Look, expenses down to 296. That's a $90 million flip in selling general administrative expenses. Tell me he's not running GameStop properly. And then he releases his letter to GameStop employees, how to treat company money like your own. And every expense should be taken under the microscope. So I'm only looking at it going down from here, even more. Check out net income. Look at the path to profitability right in front of your face. Q1 23, negative 160 million to negative 108. $50 million swing here. Down another, what, 14 million? Okay, and then from Q3 over here, look at that, 50 million. Stayed 50 million, and then down to negative 2.8. Q3, negative 3.1 million. Q4, our most profitable quarter. While Ryan is cutting expenses, it's going to be positive. We're going to knock it out the park. I'm not going to predict anything because I haven't even done it. I do my own personal stuff, research, all of that. I don't copy or imitate anyone. So I'm not going to pretend. But all I know, Michael Pachter, you're short GameStop. Tell me you're short GameStop without telling me you're short GameStop. Check it, punk. Peace. Deuce, deuce.